MonicaCWorline, Awakening Compassion at Work, the Quiet Power that Elevates People and Organizations. In today's fast-paced and competitive work environment, it's easy for employees to become overwhelmed and suffer in silence. Awakening Compassion at Work, the Quiet Power that Elevates People and Organizations by MonicaCWorline provides a rich and insightful look into how compassion can transform a workplace. The book sheds light on the importance of empathy, understanding, and connection within an organization, and offers anecdotal examples that illustrate the profound impact compassionate leadership can have on employee satisfaction, productivity, and innovation. This summary focuses on the key themes and lessons from the book, providing you with the necessary tools to cultivate a compassionate work culture in your organization.
Compassionate leadership matters. Work can often be synonymous with stress and dissatisfaction, but it doesn't have to be. Compassionate leadership can create a healthier work environment, leading to happier employees and more fruitful professional relationships. One example of such leadership involves an executive assistant named Patty, who thrived when able to connect with her managers. However, a company restructure led her to feel isolated and disheartened. In contrast, company leader Andy provided a more compassionate approach when one of his employees, Sien, experienced a personal loss. By acknowledging Sien's grief and offering support, both emotionally and professionally, Andy demonstrated that compassionate leadership has the potential to transform workplace culture into one where employees feel valued and understood. Compassion fuels business success. Compassionate companies are known to perform better, as proven by studies from fields like administrative science and employee engagement. Research shows that kinder workplaces are more productive, have higher retention rates, and breed innovation, ultimately leading to increased revenue. Taking inspiration from successful ventures like Aravind Eye Hospitals can encourage other businesses to adopt a compassionate mindset in their own models to reap the benefits. Business people often embrace tough, hard-nosed approaches. However, incorporating compassion into the workplace doesn't just benefit employees as individuals but also provide significant advantages to the business itself. By fostering compassion, companies can enjoy improved performance across the board. In 2004, administrative science expert Kim Cameron conducted a study on the impact of virtuousness or compassion on businesses. He discovered that more compassionate workplaces exhibit higher productivity levels, ultimately leading to healthier company finances. Moreover, these companies excel at retaining both clients and employees. Compassion's power goes beyond these research findings. A Gallup poll held after the 9/11 terrorist attacks revealed that compassionate companies experienced a sharp increase in employees' motivation and engagement levels. Businesses that acknowledged their workers' emotional state fared better than those that pushed for business as usual. Interestingly, compassion can also be a source of innovation. Consider the story of Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy, who established the Aravind Eye Hospitals in southern India in 1977. With a simple business model centered around patients paying only what they could afford, this compassionate initiative grew from one clinic to a successful chain by 2011. The hospitals treated over 7,000 patients daily, providing 1/3 of the treatments for free. The high-quality care attracted both wealthy and poorer clients, ensuring sustained profitability. The Aravind Eye Hospitals have received global attention and acclaim, demonstrating that extending compassion to both customers and employees proves highly beneficial for businesses. By embracing a compassionate and innovative approach, organizations can foster growth, retention, and positive impact within their industries. Cultivating compassionate leadership. Compassion in the workplace begins with being perceptive to employees' well-being. Recognizing the signs of distress and using tools like inquiry and curiosity can help leaders extend understanding and support in times of need. By asking gentle questions and engaging with employees' feelings, leaders not only reduce the chances of conflict, but also promote a more compassionate workplace culture. In the demanding world we live in, understanding the true meaning of compassion is crucial, particularly in the workplace. Recognizing when someone is suffering is the first step. However, identifying signs of distress among employees may not always be as apparent as you think. Consider the case of Dorothy, an employee at an insurance company. As her husband was hospitalized with kidney failure, Dorothy's attendance plummeted, risking her job. Ashamed and fearing the possible consequences, she kept her struggles secret. This situation exemplifies the importance of employers staying attuned to their employees' situations. In Dorothy's case, her manager, Sandeep, had noticed her odd absences. Sensing her exhaustion and embarrassment, he empathetically asked her to explain the reasons behind her recent behavior. Sandeep's response showcases the significance of using inquiry and curiosity, two essential tools when demonstrating compassion in business. Oftentimes, we may hastily pass judgment on erratic behavior without empathy or understanding. However, fostering a compassionate environment is still possible. Organizational researcher Roitlivna Tarandak conducted a study on children's camps for kids with cancer-stricken parents. She emphasized the importance of camp counselors remaining interested in the children's feelings and persistently inquiring about their welfare. This approach yielded a significant reduction in conflicts between campers and counselors. Sandeep's response and Livna Tarandaka's findings suggest that company managers and leaders can adopt similar methods of inquiry to better understand their employees' emotions, preventing undue suffering in the workplace. Cultivating compassionate leadership can create a more supportive and humane work environment for everyone. Overcoming harmful work clichés. The business world is filled with clichés that promote suffering as a necessary part of work life. This suffering is often rationalized in three different ways: assigning responsibility, judging someone undeserving, and claiming a lack of resources. By challenging these rationalizations and holding off on judgments, we can promote a more compassionate and empathetic workplace. There's no denying that the business world can be an exciting and innovative place. However, it's also plagued by clichés that lead people to believe suffering is an inevitable part of work. Phrases like, "work is incompatible with a personal life," or, "when at work, you're there only to work," are examples that perpetuate this belief. Such attitudes cause unnecessary suffering, as they disregard the importance of compassion in the workplace. Suffering is typically rationalized in three harmful ways. These rationalizations prevent us from recognizing the value of empathy and understanding towards our colleagues. First, people often assign responsibility to the person who is suffering. For example, if you blame someone for the problem they're dealing with, you close off the opportunity for empathy before it even arises. Second, some might judge others as undeserving of concern. This occurs when we view people, such as the homeless, as unworthy of compassion due to their circumstances, such as not having a job. This mindset inhibits the growth of empathy and kindness. Lastly, people may claim they lack the time or resources to help others. In this situation, they might ignore someone asking for directions, reasoning that they do not have the time to assist. To break free from these harmful rationalizations, it's important to practice patience and suspension of judgment. By doing so, we can foster a more compassionate work environment. When colleagues arrive late or make mistakes, instead of casting blame, we should pause and search for underlying causes. In doing so, we open ourselves up to empathy and understanding. When Hurricane Sandy struck New York, companies took two different approaches with employees affected by the disaster. Some employers acknowledged the difficult circumstances and supported their employees, while others placed blame on their workers and accused them of using the hurricane as an excuse for poor performance. The latter approach led to a severe decline in workplace compassion. It is essential to recognize that snap judgments and compassionate work environments cannot coexist. By challenging these harmful rationalizations and cultivating a mindset of empathy, we can create a more positive and supportive atmosphere that benefits both employees and businesses. Empathy unleashed. Empathy, although innate in humans, can be blocked due to various reasons, including failure to understand others' perspectives. Deliberate efforts to comprehend others' feelings and situation can help bring forth empathy, leading to the discovery of ways to support and help them. Empathy is no ordinary feeling that occurs spontaneously, it demands significant effort. As an inherent emotion in humans, it can, however, be hindered due to various factors. Recent neuroscience studies conducted over the past 2 decades have revealed that humans are not merely driven by self-interest, our brains are, in fact, wired for empathy. This means we possess the ability to interpret subtle facial expressions and vocal cues, which enables us to identify when someone is suffering and provide support or assistance. Regrettably, the capacity for empathy can easily vanish, particularly in the workplace. Take, for instance, a scenario where someone is unfairly blamed for a mistake. Often, coworkers do nothing, fearing they may share the blame if they associate with the person at fault. In essence, if empathy comes at a cost, we generally choose to stifle it and may even resort to aggressive tendencies to conceal it. Typically, the inability to relate to others' perspectives causes us to block empathy. Overcoming this challenge entails consciously attempting to put ourselves in another person's position and discerning how best to aid them in a particular situation. This concept is known as cognitive empathy, in contrast to emotional empathy, solely focusing on understanding someone's emotions. Consider an example from the author's research at a law firm. Juana, a copy clerk, was becoming increasingly disheartened as her dream of becoming a paralegal remained unattainable. Feeling stuck in a mundane job, she began making frequent errors. Rosita, a paralegal, soon lost patience with Juana's constant lapses, berating her for her mistakes. Thankfully, the staff manager, Veronica, stepped in. She encouraged Rosita to envision the situation from Juana's viewpoint, thus reigniting Rosita's empathy. Having gained insight into Juana's perspective, Rosita recognized that finding ways to support Juana was essential. Ultimately, this support would empower Juana to progress toward becoming a paralegal and realizing her full potential. Empathy into action. Empathy goes beyond just understanding someone's emotions, it requires active demonstration and involvement. By acting compassionately and improvising in the moment, one can make a tangible difference in the lives of those around them. No gesture is too small, and compassionate actions will have a meaningful impact on both parties involved. Empathy goes beyond just feeling for someone, it is an important sentiment that needs to be showcased in the right moment. Empathy calls for improvisation, similar to the way jazz musicians think on their feet and create harmonious tunes. If reacting in real time proves to be a challenge, preparing compassionate responses can help one better demonstrate empathy. Remember, true compassion pushes us to take action and support those around us. Take the story of Nazima, who was very close to her sister Chenny and her niece Faith, who had Down syndrome. When the heart-rending news of Faith's passing reaches Nazima, she finds herself conflicted. Her professional life demands her undivided attention, but her personal tragedy requires care and support. Her empathetic coworker Ed steps in to help Nazima, understanding that colleagues might require a sudden positive shift in their lives. He took charge of the situation, offering assistance, checking in on her, and being available when she needed someone to talk to. It's not just grand gestures, even small acts can make a huge difference in demonstrating empathy toward others. Ed's consistency in reaching out to Nazima through daily emails and phone messages exemplified empathy in action. He provided Nazima with the space and unconditional support she needed while adjusting his approach according to her needs. These regular interactions kept his empathy strong and facilitated his understanding of the support she needed. In turn, Nazima benefited greatly from Ed's empathetic actions. His steady support made her struggle with her niece's loss and her work responsibilities more manageable. This story illustrates that empathy goes beyond mere words and feelings, it demands action for it to be truly meaningful and impactful. Transform your compassion into tangible ways to help and support those in need, be it through small or grand gestures. Those actions ensure that empathy becomes profoundly valuable for everyone involved. Cultivating compassionate company culture. Transforming a company's culture into one that emphasizes compassion can be challenging, but it's possible with the right strategies. One example is Midwest Billing, a highly efficient and profitable company with a compassionate work atmosphere. This culture has flourished through the creation of subunits encouraging strong teamwork, a thoughtful hiring process prioritizing candidates with a genuine personal spark, and by establishing support pods to provide assistance when needed, fostering mutual understanding and learning across different teams. During their research journeys, the authors visited Midwest Billing, a bustling Omaha, Nebraska-based company that handles paperwork for local hospitals. The company is intriguingly admired for two things: being highly efficient and profitable, as well as having a refreshingly compassionate work atmosphere. While at the company, the authors witnessed a heartwarming scene. Dorothy, an employee swamped beneath a mountain of paperwork one Monday morning, was quickly spotted and supported by her coworkers. Together, they tackled the enormous task, transforming what could have been an all-day ordeal into a delightful collaboration. But this compassionate culture didn't materialize out of thin air, it was meticulously cultivated by Midwest Billing. How, you ask? Firstly, the company fostered intimate subunits where employees worked together closely, facilitating a culture of solidarity. This sense of connectedness allows workers to develop relationships on a personal level, ensuring they feel supported and valued both individually and as part of a team. Secondly, Midwest Billing was immensely intentional about recruiting new members. Beyond looking for candidates with excellent professional skills, the company ensured they had a genuine personal spark that would help them harmoniously fit into the existing group. Lastly, the company implemented support pods, groups of employees that swoop in and provide assistance to those with large workloads. Not only did this innovation bolster support among team members, but it also enabled the new employees to understand the responsibilities of different subunits and feel more integrated into the company's structure. Midwest Billing stands as an inspirational example of a company that has successfully transformed its culture into one of compassion and heart. By fostering close-knit teams, hiring individuals who share the company's ethos, and creating support pods for additional assistance, businesses too can create an environment where collaborative compassion thrives. Compassionate leadership matters. Exceptional leaders understand the power of compassion in guiding and supporting their teams. They prioritize fostering personal connections, valuing their employees' growth, and encouraging a culture of empathy and understanding. By embodying these principles and communicating their importance, compassionate leaders contribute to a thriving and successful work environment. The most effective leaders recognize that instilling compassion in their leadership approach is fundamental to the overall success of their organizations. This belief stems from the understanding that building meaningful relationships with employees and genuinely caring for their personal growth are essential aspects of their roles. Listening to employee concerns, understanding their needs, and taking the time to know them as individuals are hallmarks of compassionate leadership. Take Pat Kristen, CEO of Hope Lab, as an example. This innovative organization focuses on developing technology to support emotional well-being. Under her leadership, Kristen not only dedicates time to understanding her employees' lives, but also sets aside funds for their personal development. This approach starkly contrasts with traditional corporate practices, where such funds would be earmarked exclusively for company-related skills. However, the true impact of compassionate leadership extends beyond merely demonstrating empathy and understanding. The real power lies in inspiring others to adopt similar behavior. Often, this requires effective communication about the value of compassion as an organizational priority. LinkedIn CEO Jeff Weiner captured this idea in an essay titled "Leading Compassionately." In it, he emphasizes that promoting compassion within the company has been one of his main objectives as CEO. However, Weiner also acknowledges the difficulty of incorporating compassion into everyday leadership activities. The journey towards compassionate leadership involves several key facets. First, one must recognize the signs of a person in distress. Next, emotions must be interpreted and understood correctly. Finally, appropriate and empathetic action must be taken to address the individual's needs. By embracing these principles and communicating their significance throughout the organization, leaders can cultivate a culture of compassion that ultimately leads to a more successful and thriving workplace. In conclusion, great leaders lead with compassion, understanding that personal connections and employees' well-being are keys to a thriving organization. By embodying compassionate values and actively promoting their importance, these forward-thinking leaders facilitate positive change within their organizations, enhancing productivity, satisfaction, and success.
Awakening Compassion at Work offers a fresh and compelling perspective on bringing compassion and empathy into the workplace. The book demonstrates the power of compassionate leadership in improving employee productivity, job satisfaction, and the overall success of an organization. The key takeaways emphasize the importance of recognizing and addressing suffering at work, fostering a compassionate work culture, building meaningful relationships with employees, and leading by example. By incorporating these principles into your company, you can cultivate a compassionate and thriving work environment where employees are genuinely committed to and passionate about their work, leading to better outcomes for both the employees and the organization as a whole.